Hello guys, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Tessie. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all, depending on where you are watching from. Hope you all are doing well, and thank you so much for stopping by. So my people, the Enyash is beginning to open one after the other. INEC official has issued a statement apologizing to the Nigerian people for announcing fake election result during the presidential election. And according to him, he said that he is sorry that he announced that result under duress. Before we continue, please, I want to beg you, because I'm going to read out the statement for you guys, but please, I want to beg you to please help me by liking this video. Also share with others so that YouTube and Facebook can recommend it to more people. It says, I am sorry I announced fake election result for fear of losing my life. INEC official reviews as more evidence of election rigging surface. Professor Ibrahim Adamu Yakasai from Bayero University, Kano State, has spoken against the February 25th election result that was announced by the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Yakubu Mahmood. The professor, who served as the returning officer for the 2023 Tudunwada or Duaga House of Representative elections, testified that the result he declared on the 26th February 2023 was under duress for the fear of losing his life and other INEC officials who were with him. He noted in a letter that his collation area was completely under siege by thugs who threatened to burn down the INEC facility if he did not declare the result within 1 hour. His letter, titled Declaration of Dutun Wada Dugawa House Representative Result Under Duress, reads, I serve as the returning officer for the 2023 Dutun Wada Dugawa House of Representative elections, whose result was declared by me on the 26th February 2023. However, I would like to testify that the declaration I made was under duress for fear of losing my life and other INEC officials who were with me. The collation area was completely under siege, threatening to burn down the INEC facility if I did not declare the result within 1 hour. I was completely traumatized, hopeless, and confused, which did not give me the stability of mind to work in accordance with the Electoral Act and election guidelines as areas or polling units where elections were cancelled. The total number of accredited voters were not compared with margin of the scores that led to the declaration. And finally, the situation my colleagues and I found ourselves could not give us the opportunity to attend to the complaints of non-use of beavers in some polling unit. I hope my statement would be kindly looked at and necessary action to be taken in accordance with Section 65 of the Electoral Act 2022. Thank you. Yours faithfully. Reacting to the letter, Dino Melaye, spokesman for the Presidential Campaign Council of the People's Democratic Party, wrote, a professor right to denounce election result he declared in the just concluded election. Small, we dey gather more evidence. Yahoo election and the beneficiary will fall. Oyibo we do pencil, na him do cleaner. All right, guys, and that is it for you all. This is just one out of many fake results that was announced, and today we have someone parading himself as a president under fake result. But in any case, we are still waiting and looking to see if the right thing will be done in Nigeria for the very first time. We are waiting. Talking about the beavers that did not work, I'm going to let you guys watch this video from Fast, who is a popular Nigerian musician and also a lawyer. Let's take a look.
I want to get your thoughts on the process. Would you join those who say that INEC failed Nigerians and failed the young Nigerians who decided to participate at this time? Yeah. What for you was the most shocking part of the whole process on the 25th of February?
I will definitely join them. If I'm not the first person to say that, safe. It was extremely shambolic. It was terrible. It was a mess. I think what was most shocking to me was the fact that the INEC chairman, who I personally think has put out or has, displayed the most embarrassing display that we've ever seen from any INEC chairman. He constantly and consistently, unprovoked, nobody asked him, reassured Nigerians that on election day, transmission of results will be via the BVAS system. The reason the BVAS system was introduced in the first place was to mitigate these issues, to solve this problem of rigging.
Yeah.
And he constantly and consistently reassured Nigerians that that was going to be up and running, and on the day, it just didn't work. So for me, I think that was probably the most shocking thing, especially because this person consistently said, oh, this is what we're going to use. And if I'm being honest with you, the point where we were able to reach in terms of the entire electoral process, I think is probably the best possible it can be for a country like Nigeria, because it's a perfect hybrid system. Now, the actual voting system is very manual. You literally thumbprint on a physical sheet of paper. Everybody does that one by one. And then in front of all agents for each party, they count the votes. Yeah. So everyone witnesses the counting one by one. Okay, Labour Party, so amount. APC, so amount. PDP, so amount. Everyone witnesses that. Then the electoral officer signs a result sheet with the result that everyone can attest to.
Yes.
And then what they're supposed to do, which they didn't do, of course, is take a photo of that result sheet and immediately upload it to the portal. So that real time, of course, some people will finish voting before others, but real time, you can start checking polling unit by polling unit, start putting together what the results are. Nothing went up.
Yeah, but what about, so the INEC chairman, over time, in the last couple of days, they've moved between saying that they had technical glitches, to saying that, some of the staff were poorly trained. And I remember we spoke about this yesterday, that they needed to retrain more, their staff better, ad hoc staff better, and of course, maybe even sack some of them that failed. So, would you agree with the narrative that his intentions were pure, and that means that from when he spoke at Chatham House to when he spoke at every other interview assuring Nigerians that this is the process that would be used, that was the intention, but it just happens that, Nigerian.
In the grand scheme of things, it's incredibly difficult to possibly conceive the idea that his intentions were ever pure. It's incredibly difficult. Let's start from the budget to run this election. 300 billion.
Yeah.
How can you come and then tell me you had technical issues? Poorly trained staff. Come on. With I personally think this is a ridiculous amount of money. But let's not even go into that. You had this. Just make it work. You had one job. Just make it work. How possibly expensive can it be to set up This is a booming tech era.
Yes.
We were just talking about it. Such a high population of young people in this country. People that are very tech savvy. If you have problems on the technical side, there's a big amount of people that can help you out with that. So you can't come with excuses, they hacked your system, or your server was down. What is that mess? How can you say that your server was down in the presidential election for the entire country of over 200 and something million people, that you had this long to plan for and this much money to work with? Like I said earlier on, I think this was an extremely embarrassing display from Mahmoud Yakubu.
All right, now you've talked about the fact that we had sufficient money, over 300 billion was allocated for the planning of the elections. Unfortunately, there have been lots of reports, not just from one person, lots of reports about inconsistency, not just in the tallying, but also in updating the results. You have spoken very passionately on your page about how this is a violation of the Electoral Act, and I'd like you to shed further light on that.
Yes. So just as I was explaining earlier on, this system that we have right now, I think, is the best we can possibly have in a country like Nigeria. So what happened was that prior to this, there was no such thing as electoral transmission of results. Just last year, the Electoral Act was amended after a lot of deliberation, and people were like, okay, we have to solve this problem of rigging. How can we solve this problem of rigging? Okay, how about we take out that element of carrying the ballot and moving from polling unit to collation center? How about we transmit the results directly from the polling unit? And everyone agreed, oh, this is beautiful, wonderful. The Electoral Act was amended accordingly. Now, the Electoral Act then gave the chairman of INEC the power to make guidelines and regulations that would, govern the entire process. And he, by himself, Mahmoud Yakubu, released the guidelines and regulations saying, okay, this is how it's going to work. Transmission will be via the BVAS. And on the day, he, by himself, violated that. The act is not only illegal, in nowhere transparent. How do you come the night of the election, announce one state, Ekiti State? From where did you get those results? The next day, you continue. You're announcing these results in like tranches. Like, what are you doing? Everything just looks so shabby. No one can even verify these results. Where are you getting these results from? And a lot of result sheets surfaced on the internet where we'll see, results clearly being altered and so messy.
So what then is the way forward? We've seen the Labour Party and the People's Democratic Party have criticized the results, saying that they do not accept it. Labour Party believes that they have won the elections as well, and they're taking the matter to court. Do you foresee that the court would maybe overturn the current situation as is? And do you really have trust in the Supreme Court and its ability to be able to, act as a fair check in this situation? I'm asking this because we have seen that there's a breach of trust between the bench and between the average Nigerians in some cases. Many of them have expressed their concern as to how they worry that there might be some influence, maybe the Supreme Court or even the election petition tribunals. So are you confident that the law will take its course?
I see that the Supreme Court would be able to, by its judgment, remedy the situation. However, I think what most people are worried about, and what you're probably asking me about, is whether everyone will be in compliance with the Supreme Court's judgment. What we've seen time after time is the executive arm of government refusing to listen to the judicial arm of government. And for a democracy to work, there has to be clear separation of powers with checks and balances in place. The reason why that concept even exists, the reason why there are courts, is to check every other arm of government. Everyone has all these powers and they can't just be acting like it's a dictatorship. Everyone has to be subject to the law. Everyone is equal before the law, regardless of who you are, even if you're the president. So we've seen, like what you were telling me off air, we've seen a lot of instances where the president himself, Muhammadu Buhari, refused to listen to the Supreme Court. So that's probably why, everyone's apprehensive. What's going to happen? Is this going? But I promise you, this can't be one of those.